Zach Galifianakis is an unpredictable comedian who's become known for his awkward, slightly unhinged characters in films like The Hangover and Due Date. Zach developed his bizarre style of comedy in high school, making his classmates laugh as a lisping, effeminate redneck who's scared of strangers. He dropped out of uni with only one subject to go and had a series of dead-end jobs until his mid-20s when a friend convinced him to try his hand at stand-up comedy. He soon began getting regular film and TV work in small, quirky roles and earned cult fame with internet talk show Between Two Ferns, where he interviewed some of Hollywood's top stars like Natalie Portman and Michael Cera. The Hangover made Zach a star in his own right, something his director Todd Phillips felt was long overdue.
Zach Galifianakis, again, somebody who has a huge stand-up career in LA and across the country at colleges and everything, has done movies, bit parts, has never really had a huge part in a movie, and certainly never had a part that was really sort of crafted for him and what I think his strengths are. So when him and I met on this and showed him the script, he was super excited to get into Alan and figure out who Alan is, who's sort of this left-footed character who never really belongs in the group.
I've had a really, really good time working on the movie. The days fly by. I really like it. So I'm very, very grateful. And now I can go back to work. I'm a substitute teacher at Tampa Bay Community College. So I'll probably go back to that. It was a nice run. It was a nice run. I'll just turn in my SAG card. I tried.
As the strange future brother-in-law, Alan, who tags along for the Bucks night in Las Vegas, Zach had some of the funniest lines in the film.
I think Alan just experimented too much and then kind of got locked in it. He probably done a lot of drugs in food courts and malls because he just happens to be turning in applications to Jamba Juice and then forgets to turn his application to Jamba Juice and then just sits in front of the burrito place and says, oh yeah, I forgot, I have some acid in my pocket over pot cookie. And then he eats it, and then he calls his dad to come pick him up at the mall. It's fine, he's only 35.
Zach admits to drawing on some of his own personal experiences for The Hangover.
I mean, it's a little close to home. I mean, I've had some bad moments where I've woken up underneath a car with the engine still running in a park one morning. I've been at job interviews where I was drunk. But the movie is a movie because it's a little bit highlighted from regular life. But it's a little close to home, I think.
The Hangover was a massive success at the box office and put Zach in the spotlight after years of flying under the radar.
This is a bit weird, all this stuff. I don't know, I used to perform in coffee houses and it was nice. That was a little bit more sane. This is crazy.
Wanting to show he could also play straighter roles, Zach next starred in the family-friendly flick GForce, playing a scientist who heads up a team of secret agent guinea pigs.
I'm the scientist that kind of gets them to communicate with me, and then from that communication, we go and do special op forces thing.
GForce was made using a combination of live action and 3D animation. This meant the humans in the film had to act with guinea pigs that weren't even there, but were computer-generated in post-production.
It's hard to act to nothingness. There's nothing there, and then on top of that, that nothingness happens to be guinea pigs. So you just kind of imagine. I mean, you just kind of go, well, I don't know, I'm just going to act like I'm talking to guinea pigs. There's no training. There's nothing really you can do. There's no guinea pig acting coach.
Next, Zach played a patient in a mental health institution who takes a teenage boy under his wing in It's Kind of a Funny Story.
With all the pressures of this society, I think we've kind of, it's such a keeping up with the Joneses society, which I don't really understand, but, and then, parents wanting their kids to be, special and all that thing and hardworking. And yeah, I mean, I grew up pretty simple, so we didn't have a lot of pressures. I mean, we had to get good grades, but these days you got to have good grades, you got to be good looking, you know the right people. It's disgusting, quite frankly.
Given the many misconceptions surrounding mental health issues, Zach wanted to make sure he knew as much as he could about the subject before filming began.
I went and researched the role at a couple of mental facilities, and what I found was, and they allude to it in this script, is that the people that work at the mental facilities and the people that go there, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between the two of them, and when I did my research I kind of found that to be the case. But as far as, I feel like the mind is a very fragile thing, so I think we're all very vulnerable to it.
Zach's brilliant performance earned him critical acclaim and proved he could do more than just be funny.
It's nice to be accepted, I guess, but I don't really think about it that much. I kind of forget that sometimes I'm in movies now, and you know, you have your life and then you have your work life, and I try not to get too big of a head about it. I mean, I am staring at myself more in the mirror every day going, God, you're wonderful. You're just wonderful.
Returning to his comedic roots, Zach was excited to work alongside Robert Downey Jr. in Due Date. If only the feeling had been mutual.
I approached Robert on the streets, and I said, I think we're doing a movie together. And
Susan was there, my wife. She was worried for me. I tend not to recognize people. I didn't know exactly who Zach was yet. What was my reaction? I looked like I was going to drop him on the pavement. I don't like punching Zach. I don't like it, but it has to be done.
he doesn't punch me. He pinches me, and
I do pinch him, yes.
And it drives me absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
On the set, Zach and Robert soon became good buddies.
Each morning is insults, 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 and then somehow magically and beautifully it became that some of that energy was put into the movie, quite honestly.
All jokes aside, Zach admits working with Robert was a lot of fun.
There was a lot of sitting in cars, and when you sit in a car for a long time with somebody, you really get to chat it out and talk, and it was fun. Robert has a really good sense of humor, and he laughs at my jokes, and that's all I care about in life. So I really enjoyed it.
Due Date also gave Zach the chance to work again with director Todd Phillips, who gave him his big break in The Hangover.
I really haven't gotten offered a lot of parts except for Todd, but they're never normal, and I prefer it. I like it.
Zach feels that Todd brings out the best in him because they both like to push the boundaries of good taste.
With Todd's movies, I think that's the whole point, is to go too far, and I think that's sometimes in comedy. I would imagine you have to do that because so many beats have been done in movies before, and the good thing about Todd is that there are things like a masturbating dog that you haven't seen since the old silent films.
Zach Galifianakis. He is definitely one of Hollywood's funniest men. He's the master of the really awkward moment and also the wearer of one of Hollywood's best beards, which he affectionately refers to as Shelley. Stay tuned to Star Picks for all the movies you know and the actors you love. Broadcast in glorious high definition with 5.1 surround sound where available. For more of the best in entertainment news, check out your movie network channels. It's all together better, on screen and at mnc.tv.